Welcome to Art Kids, a podcast hosted by three college buddies, Lisa, Rhys, and Tracy, where we talk about all things art. In this episode, we immerse ourselves in the vibrant universe of color. Rhys shares his experience as a colorblind designer and takes us on a journey through the spectrum, from color's scientific roots to its profound impact on art, psychology, and the digital realm, uncovering how color shapes our world in unexpected ways.
Howdy ho. Happy Saturday, yo.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Happy Saturday.
I bought some, I went to Trader Joe's a couple weeks ago and I bought some mangoes covered in like chili and basically
And
just
tahini.
Yeah.
They're mangonadas usually, or wait, I might be mixing that up with the drink, but it's an amazing dessert. Mango with tahini and then like the chamoy sauce. Oh, I love it. So good.
Very
They sell
tasty.
that on the street, I think, around here.
Well, that's I think primarily or traditionally like a Mexican dessert and like or it's native to there, and then it was brought over to the States. But it's delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
I like my margaritas with tahini on the rim. That's my favorite.
Ooh,
You're fancy.
I'm fancy.
Love it.
I'm gonna have to get a snack.
Yeah, get a snack. Get your snack on.
I got some tea for right now. Trying to be good. And my water. My water. Drinking my 64 gallons of water.
It's a lot of water.
Not really. I mean, well, I guess if I drink two of my water bottles,
right?
48 ounces, that's pretty good.
That's 8 cups of water for 64.
64. Yeah, so 8 cups of water a day.
It's a lot of water.
It is. But you can like seltzer counts, tea counts. There's like other things. But reached my step count for the day.
Ooh, very nice.
I didn't know you even had one of those.
Yeah.
I should start wearing one again.
This one's cool because it's very like minimal.
That's what I think I need. The other one was irritating me. And it was sending alerts to my phone constantly, which was driving me nuts. Not like, or it was I don't know. It was like kept syncing up with my audio on my phone. And then it was just got to be too annoying.
That's too
But
much.
speaking of delicious teas, my like obsession these days is this mango chamomile tea I found. Not that you can really see it through that glass, but it's delicious.
The colorful glass.
I drink it all the time.
It doesn't make you too sleepy drinking it during the day.
Chamomile? No.
That's usually like a nighttime tea.
Yeah.
I mean, it relaxes you, and people do drink it sometimes to help them sleep, but that's not potent enough for me. I have all sorts of things going on. Please.
That's fair. In the negative news, I have a hang now.
Oh,
It's bad. That's horrible.
cut it off. Cut it off.
Bite it off. Yeah.
Get Zeppy to do it.
No. He wouldn't even know what to do. He'd be like,
What?
So Idris,
Oh boy.
what are we talking about today?
We're talking about colors.
Can I just say that, well, I don't know for you guys, but obviously not everybody's going to see the gallery view that we see, but I'm in the middle of both Idris and Lisa, and I'm a combination of their style today.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you're wearing a cardigan and a rocking t-shirt. It's pretty
I love it.
graphic. I like
Check
it.
out
That's just
Tracy's
gonna be
shirt.
my-
It's awesome. Show the crowd your shirt.
Oh yeah, that's just going to be my vibe from now on. Whatever you guys are wearing, I'm just going to wear one of each.
That's funny. You're almost like wearing an inverted version of what I'm wearing too. It's kind of
Yeah, totally. It's great.
Yeah. And glasses.
And glasses.
And hair, like Lisa.
Yeah, I got your glasses and her curls. Totally mashing me up.
Mash up. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about color. all the colors of the rainbow. Um, and yeah, so first I thought I should start off with like a definition of color. Color is, in a really nerdy way, electromagnetic radiation, essentially. But according to Pantone, color is defined as the aspect of things that is caused by different qualities of light, reflected by or emitted by them. To see color, you have to see light. When light shines in an object, some colors bounce off of it and some are absorbed by it. Our eyes see the colors that are bounced off or reflected by it. So the first person to discover this link between color and light was Sir Isaac Newton. And I find color particularly interesting because I have a hard time seeing certain colors. I'm slightly colorblind. I found that out much later in life, and I was like, well, after college, I had went to art school and everything. And I found out when I was like at my first big boy job, my project manager, I don't know what we were talking about. I just know that like I designed a lot of things to be like really dark and stuff for a while. I was
Lots
like,
of black. Yes, you were heavy with all black. That's right.
yeah. I would design things like a lot with like gray and black and like whatever. I don't know what piqued her curiosity to like think, let's give him a color test, but they gave me a color test and I was failing. So we'll do one later. But essentially, like I could not see certain reds and greens. And then I just like noticed more throughout life that like sometimes I would say like one thing and my friends would say like another thing, like color wise. I feel like colors are so subjective. Like, you know, it just depends on the person, and everyone I think is on a spectrum. So like everybody sees things differently.
Yeah.
Like as I was doing my research for this episode, like I found out the older you get, the more like color perception degrades or what have you. And I think that means that everyone's going to probably be on a spectrum at some point as far as like color perception is concerned. So, color is usually seen by most humans, not all humans, by three types of cone cells in the eye. It's called trichromacy. While other animals have a different number of cone cells and they have different sensitivity, therefore, um, of their eye to seeing different waves of wavelengths of light. So bees see ultraviolet light, birds see ultraviolet light. I think dogs, I don't think they see ultraviolet light. I could be wrong, but like they don't see the same colors that we do. I've realized I read that, for instance, like they can't discern the difference between like purple and blue. Like it looks like the same for them. So everyone's seeing color differently. It's very interesting how everyone's perceiving color differently throughout the world, or humanity. Humanity? Does humanity include animals? Nature. Let's just say nature. um, anyway, so yeah, because of the perception of color, different colors have been associated with emotions, activities, and nationalities. Names of colors, regions, and different cultures have been sometimes overlapping. In visual arts, color theory is used to govern the use of color in an aesthetically pleasing and a harmonious way. And so we use color theory in essence to create marketing strategies for like a brand, and it would help evoke like a particular feeling or emotion or symbolize a particular aspect of a company or project.
And you really note, like thinking about it that way in branding, like you notice a trend in industries like the tech industry uses a lot of blue because blue is trustworthy. And like similarly with healthcare and food chains, it's usually like red and yellows because it's supposed to evoke a sense of hunger or like excitement. I think it's really interesting, especially working with clients on branding, when they come to you and they're like, this is what we want. And then we're like, do you want to stand out or do you want to be like everybody else? Like trying to break people out of just the trend.
Well, this is a fun fact. Color is the second most important element that allows consumers to identify brand packaging.
I bet.
Second most, not first.
And yeah, I think companies also will. Do they have like copyrighted
Yes.
copy?
Yes.
You know what I mean? They can
Copyright certain
copyright their
Pantones.
color.
Yeah, like trademark colors.
Yeah, trademark colors. Thank you.
Yeah, like when I was doing research, they use like Corningware or something as an example, but I was like, who the fuck knows what the hell Corningware is? Corningware are those dishes that break. Well, that's because
have
it's
some.
upstate thing or something to some degree, but like
No, that's an older thing. Like our parents use Corningware.
Yeah. But like they make those unbreakable dishes, right? Or something.
Yeah.
That like they just hit the floor like
Tempered glass.
Yeah. But I think everybody knows Coca-Cola Red, like Coca-Cola Red. That way, like when you say a particular color, like Coca-Cola Red, we're like more identifying with like a similar red, because like if we were like, in a classroom or what have you, and somebody says like red, like the professor says red, I think this was a Joseph Albers example actually, but like there's going to be like 50 different types of red in our minds, like, you know what I mean? Like we're not all thinking the same red, like just like not perceiving the same red either. And so that was really interesting because something that he used to do, I just like sort of jumped around, but Joseph Albers is a master in color theory, and we'll get to him later, but essentially like color is just so subjective, like amongst like one individual to another, like it changes, that like he would just give his students like 3 or 4 colors to work with for a project. And he said still it was like you would get like a lot of variety in what the students had to offer, but I remember our teacher used to do something like that too, but with typography, like you can only use like a few different typefaces like for like a particular semester, because like that way you could focus on your typography skills instead of like a particular typeface, you know what I mean?
I have a funny story about that.
Yeah, please.
I remember we were given like a set of must-haves for the type that we were using. It was like, I don't know, sans serif, something, right, whatever. Their characteristics, and we had to like find a font that hit all those characteristics, and I did. And then I did the project, and the professor commented, and he was like, you literally picked the first one in the list of fonts that shows up. And I was like, yeah, because it met all the criteria. He was like pissed that I didn't spend more time looking for other options.
I feel like I knew who this professor was.
You know who won.
Was he an asshole?
Some people may have thought so.
I remember there was one particular professor who was such an asshole. Can stand him, but I still think about him all the time because like he was an asshole, and like those people always seem to like have a long standing impression on you, like you never forget the things that they say to you. So
anyways, I just thought it was funny that like at the restriction in the project, but then I got in trouble because I didn't research further.
I'm so mad for you because I don't like him, if I'm even thinking about the same person, but like whatever. Anyway, he was pretty about my thesis too, if we're talking about the same teacher, but yeah, totally I was so nail on the head. Oh god, he was so annoying. Anyway, yeah, he was like, why are you doing this at all, basically, for my thesis. But anyway.
And look at you now.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that? Like all those teachers who like poo-pooed you and were like, you should quit. Like,
but yeah, he was interesting. I mean, I never had him, thank God, as my actual teacher, but anyway, it's back to colors. Colors. So yeah, I thought it was necessary for me to sort of cover sort of the boringness about color being like electromagnetic waves that like everybody sees differently in the world, including animals, because it goes into color blindness, since like not everybody has the same inside parts, moving parts. We don't have all the same, I guess, cone cell structures or something. Something's wrong with our eyeballs, like mine. So color blindness or color vision deficiency, I've got CVD, is the decreased ability to see color or differences in color. So I have like decreased ability in seeing color. I could still see color, but it's decreased ability. The severity of color blindness ranges from most unnoticeable to full absence of color perception. That would be like you're pretty much seeing grayscale or something.
That would be wild.
Yeah, that would be really wild.
I think
Colorblind.
like newborn babe, sorry to keep interrupting you. I think newborns up until like a couple of weeks, they only see high contrast, like black, white, high contrast. Their color cones aren't formed.
Remember hearing that too.
So wow. That's why a lot of the toys are like the black and white shapes for like little babies. Yeah,
I didn't know
like
that.
high contrast stuff.
Why don't we give that a Google? That's good for the audience to know.
Let me look.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming like people probably see colors differently throughout their entire life. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear that babies are definitely seeing color differently than adults.
It says okay, at about 1 month, the babies can detect brightness and intensity of colors, and over the next few months, they start to see several colors, including red. The baby's vision is fully developed at about 4 months, where they're able to see a lot of colors and even shades. Wow.
I didn't know it took that long. Interesting.
Oh, babies.
So 2 to 4 months old is when they really start becoming perceptive to color, and they can start telling the difference between red and green. Oh, so you got baby eyes.
I've got baby eyes. I've got baby eyes and adult teeth. So, let's see. So color blindness is pretty prevalent in men. I read the most common form is caused by a genetic condition called congenital red-green color blindness, including protan or duotan types, which affects up to 1 in 12 men. That's 8% of males. And 1 in 200 women. That's 0.5 women. So it's not that much for women, but like there's still some women out there who have color blindness like men do. The condition is more prevalent in males because the opsin genes responsible are located on the X chromosome. Rare genetic conditions causing color blindness include congenital blue-yellow color blindness, tritan type, blue cone monochromacy, and achromatopsia. That's my middle name, actually. Achromatopsia. Color blindness can result from physical or chemical damage to the eye, the optic nerve, parts of the brain, or from medication toxicity. Color vision also naturally degrades in old age. That's what
Do you think I mean, this is kind of a stereotype, but because of the increased amount of men who have color blindness, that's why they're not really into like things looking nice, like fashion, like women are, like whatever. And then
that's interesting, actually.
I don't know. Chris actually asked me today if I know anything about fashion because I'm gay. And I was like, I don't know, like I guess. And then I said like Henley, and he was like, what's a Henley? And then he was like looking up Henley. And I was like, okay, so maybe I do know a little bit more about fashion than I think I do, but I don't.
You know a lot about fashion, Rhys, than like the average person.
I don't think about it.
Well, so like you know a lot more about fashion than the average male, for sure, by miles. And then you know a lot more about fashion than the average person if you put a bunch of women in the room. But like, I don't think it's because you're gay per se. I think it's just because like you like fashion and you paid attention to it most of your life and you like aesthetic clothing and things along those lines.
I have like notes of like just different articles of clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll just be sitting there writing down different art, like harem pants. Like I'm just like writing down like different types of, because like there's so many different types of clothes and I want them all. So yeah, I guess I do know about clothes, but what would look good on you though, that takes some trial and error.
Definitely.
So color blindness. Depending on jurisdiction, the colorblind are ineligible for certain careers. Did you know that?
No,
Like
why?
such as being an aircraft pilot.
I was just going to say military. Yeah, I
Yeah.
knew there was certain military stuff that affected.
I guess that would
I'm
make
still
sense.
surprised by this list. An aircraft pilot, a train driver, a police officer. It's like, wow, a police officer? I mean, I don't want to be one, but okay. A firefighter, and members of the armed forces. The effects of color blindness. Oh, that means I don't have to maybe serve. That's great. Okay.
You've passed that age anyway,
I
so
think I'm past that age, right? Yeah.
you've aged out of that, luckily.
I don't want to get drafted
You're
anyway.
getting drafted. But
The effect of color blindness on artistic ability is controversial, but a number of famous artists are believed to have been colorblind. So toot that horn or something.
Boop, boop.
Um, a colorblind person will have decreased or no color discrimination along the red, green, blue, yellow axis or both. However, the vast majority of colorblind people are affected on their red, green axis, and that's more.
mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, since we're talking about all that, we should try doing a color blindness test.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Ooh, you know what else is fun to try and do? Which I don't know if they're easy to find, but those like to see if you have like the hyper color sensitivity gene where you can like see more colors than the average person.
Like women do.
I think a lot of women probably have that trait. I can't remember
People
what it's
who've done
called.
psychedelics. That definitely, I mean, yeah, that affected my ability to see color nuance. Like I saw color completely differently after my days of experimentation.
Like, whoa. Here we are.
Color test.
Oh, let's do a color test.
What does this mean again? Dutan color
I
blind.
I think the name of it is the type of cones it's referring to.
I think so too. I just read about it, but I'm like still kind of absorbing my brain. Because apparently this color blindness test is better than how they normally test for color blindness, which is called Ishihara. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I should look that up. But it's like a Japanese test for color blindness. I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. Let me see if I'm right about that. One sec. 1 second. Ishihara.
Oh no. Oh boy.
Yeah, Ishihara. Japanese. Yeah. It's named after the person who created it. And so essentially
this is this one's the Enchroma is a more sophisticated, or the one that they created, or
yeah, it's a little bit more sophisticated than the Ishihara one. And Enchroma, for everybody who's not in the know, made these glasses to help correct color blindness. So there's ways to help correct color blindness, but there is no cure at the moment. There are therapies though. So yeah, let's take this color blindness test and see how we are seeing color differently. Now we have to note that each plate is only going to be, I think, up on the screen for a limited amount of time. Like we have to, what is the word? Respond within like 7 seconds or something.
okay.
So turn up your brightness to 100%. I did that.
How do we all want to be saying this out loud?
Yeah, we can go yes.
Yeah, we could all say like whatever you think it is out loud. I mean, because like you're not ruining it for me. Like if I don't see it, I don't see it. So
Okay.
like
I just thought, wasn't sure for like who
like,
you were.
it's usually like numbers or something that are like in the plates, and the plates are essentially, for our listeners, plates are essentially what they call each slide that has like these dots on it, like different color dots of different sizes, and essentially for each plate there's usually like a number, like the number 21 or the number 12 or something. And then someone who's colorblind might not be able to see it or may be able to see it depending on what kind of plate it is. And then the people who are regular, like I could see color folk, they should be able to see everything except for the ones that this is what I thought was weird, except for the plates that are made for people who are colorblind, because I was having trouble seeing everything. So I'm really.
Do you want to, because we have a limited time, you want to just like, Idris, you say yes, no, then Lisa can say yes, no, and then I'll say yes, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yes, no, or the number that it is.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, so the number or no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll go first, and then you guys go first, and then you guys go. Not first, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do it in order. So me first, Tracy, then Lisa. That's
Okay.
how we're showing up in the gallery.
Okay.
To get baseline results, don't wear any tinted lenses during the test. I don't have any tinted lenses. Please note you will have 7 seconds to respond to each plate. And to see your performance improve while wearing chroma glasses, make sure to check the box below. Are you wearing chroma glasses? No, I am not at the moment, but maybe one day we will, because Chroma will see this episode and they will send us some glasses.
Woo-woo.
Chroma, great. Okay, so let's start this test. I see an 8.
I see an 8.
Okay, I have to go back. Let's restart the test. Okay. 1, 2. I see a 7.
7.
7.
I see a 1.
1.
1.
I see nothing.
1.
1.
What? I see nothing. I see a 9.
9.
9, yeah.
Okay. I see a 3.
3.
3.
I see nothing.
9.
9.
I don't understand how that's clear to you guys. I see 2.
2.
2.
I see 8.
8.
8.
I see nothing, or maybe 4.
4.
It is 4.
4?
Very distinct 4, though. That's interesting.
Yeah, that wasn't that clear to me. Time has run out. Select any answer, continue. Nothing. Oh well. 4. Whatever. Nothing. 3.
3.
3.
I don't know here.
3.
3.
Really? It's not that clear. 5 maybe, but I don't see anything.
5, yeah.
Oh, it is 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a green 5.
Was it like a clear 5?
That one was
Not as clear.
Similar. Yeah, the gray and the green were similar hue.
8.
8.
8.
Is this another 8?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's like a pink red.
It's not that clear though. I have no idea what's happening here at all.
5.
5, but it's light.
2.
2.
It's probably an 8.
8.
8.
Really? It's very like hard to see though. 7?
7.
7.
That's kind of hard to see too. 4.
4. That
4.
color combination is the hardest for me.
Same.
For the gray purple?
Mm-hmm. It's very light.
This is a 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Woo, woo, woo.
See colorblind test results and get $20 off your first order.
Oh man.
Speaking of those chroma glasses, it reminds me of one of my favorite New Girl episodes where Winston is colorblind and then he tries those glasses for the first time and he like gets to see color and freaks out, and then he realizes he's got like the worst taste in fashion ever.
Winston does not get me at all. What? And plus he's colorblind, which basically makes him crippled.
Colorblind? Please tell me, these shoes are brown, right?
Oh,
the shoes are
They're
green.
definitely green.
Okay, you both are crazy. Did you text him and tell him?
Winston!
What?
If you think those shoes are brown, what color do you think you are?
I got you some stuff.
Oh my gosh, you didn't... Did you look at this? Puzzles? A book on subway graffiti? Candy. Wait a minute. Maybe candy is different colors?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. Everything is different colors.
Well, I'll see you on the other side. Nobody told me fruit was different colors.
Thought you knew.
I didn't know about fruit, baby.
How you know?
This is purple.
That's right.
I'm touching purple.
Yeah.
I'm touching purple.
Oh, don't cry. No, don't cry.
Are my socks blue?
Your socks are blue.
I hate blue so much.
Calm down, baby. Okay.
Some more blue. Get
Okay,
down.
just calm down. Do you want me to find you something brown to look at? Would that be soothing?
I just think I just need to take it slow.
I am right here with you. Why don't we go sit on the couch?
Baby, what color is that couch gonna be?
Oh, don't make that a whole thing.
Oh, I did not solve this Rubik's Cube.
It's an amazing episode.
We got to find the clip.
Yes.
I love Winston. That was an amazing show.
That was so good.
The pro-tan colorblind. You have a strong deficiency in your red color cone, which means you have a type of red-green color blindness called pro-tan.
Hmm.
My individual color cone response: 100% for blue, 75% for green, and 25% for red.
Wow.
So that means I'm really having an issue with the reds.
It's interesting because that is the highest contrast. All those ones that you couldn't see, probably similar for Lisa, that was the highest contrast for me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
These
They
glasses,
were all pretty distinct except for the ones that were what was it, the gray and purple trace we said? What was the
Yeah.
one we had trouble seeing?
Yeah, the gray and purple were
Yeah,
like,
there was
those were the
one-
closest.
One other time that came up where I was like, that's pretty light. Like, it's not very distinct.
Did you feel colorblind? Were you gonna cry? These glasses are kind of pricey.
Well,
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, it is allowing you to see color. Look at how happy they are. They're like, I could see color.
I was gonna say, I bet you we'll have to look to see if there's videos of people using those glasses for the first time ever. I bet you that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, these are for kids. That's cute. Colorblind
Mhm.
kids.
Awesome. Oh, those are sunglasses. These are just the
Indoor.
everyday indoor.
Oh, you
Oh,
got
yeah.
indoor ones or outdoor ones. Gotcha.
All right. Well, and Chroma, you should send Idris a pair so he can try them and give you a wonderful review. I'm sure it'd be awesome. I can't even imagine what you would think looking through those and being able to see the reds the way you
I
can.
know. And two, if you wore them consistently, I wonder how it would start affecting like how you designed, like if that would shift at all.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting and fascinating. And it goes to show that like, even when we have some kind of deficit or disability, like if it's not obvious to our like perception, we'll use other muscles or facets in order to compensate, and we can go our whole lives without knowing. So like had your boss or where you're working hadn't brought that up, like up until this point, like you entered the world of design and art and like you never had realized, you just leaned on like the parts that came more naturally to you, like, you know, minimalism, black and white, things like that, like selective use of color, but had like, otherwise you could have kept going and not realizing it, you know? And I think that speaks to like how we compensate. So like, who knows what the implication of that is in terms of like how much we all see things differently.
Yeah, definitely. I think for a while, and I mean, I still do, but like I was just designing without color in mind for a primary or even a secondary focus. But like I designed in grayscale, I would kind of focus on the composition. I'd focus on relative space
Mhm.
and visual hierarchy, and then adding color like after all that design work is done. Because
Mhm.
color could change, like always, like you show something to a client and then they're like, oh, can you try it in this color? Or I want to make it pop more, which usually is a color reference or something. So like you have to find another color combination or something.
It's funny though, because I imagine like some designers might lean like, and not that I specifically know, but I imagine maybe some are really drawn to color and then they start their process while leaning into like a color pattern or color style. And so it's interesting to think like those are your steps to approach when you begin something, and they're like someone else might lead it by color or like just how they think to bring color in, you know, it's different for everyone. And also like, I imagine not just clearly not design, but all artists.
Mhm. In
Oh, yeah.
design specific, like I would say, best practices, logos, icon designs, wireframes. It's all supposed to be black and white.
Nice.
And I think
That comes
maybe,
afterwards.
yeah, for that reason of like everybody needs to be in agreement about at least the base structure of it. And then you can't lean on color because everybody's going to perceive it differently. And if you're using color to like highlight a contrast or a shape and somebody can't see that color, then they don't see that shape the same.
It's interesting too, because I don't know if you've noticed, there's like a photographic trend lately where light, which I mean, they did this in the past, but it's coming back, where like they'll light a set or they'll light like a portrait, and it's done with like using the gels in front of the light. So you have like it's heavily colored in red and green and orange, right? And it's like that makes up the whole scene. And I'm curious, actually, we should show Rhys those and see how he sees them differently. I'm really curious how that affects people who see those portraits, because they are primarily washed in those colors, you know?
Yeah, like what is that? Does it heighten a contrast or does it just not make any difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting to look at.
Yeah. And so by the way, for our listeners, Enchroma brand of glasses and the website, it's spelled ENCHROMA.com, enchroma.com. That way you could do the test, check out the glasses, and find out more about all that jazz. You might have someone in your life that's colorblind and might be interested. So yeah. So besides like color blindness and color perception, I think what's really important, which I sort of touched on, is color theory, which touches on color psychology to some degree. And color psychology is the study of hues as a determinant of human behavior. Color influences perceptions that are not obvious, such as taste of food. Colors have qualities that can cause certain emotions in people, and how it influences individuals may differ on age, gender, or culture. Although color associations can vary contextually between cultures, color preference is thought to be relatively uniform across gender and race. Color psychology is also widely used in marketing and branding, as marketers see color as an important factor, since color can influence a consumer's emotions and perceptions about goods and services. Logos for companies are important, since the logo can attract more customers. And so, yeah, like the first person that I guess, well, I shouldn't say the first person, but one of the first people that drew this connection between color and psychology is Carl Jung. And
Love him.
he's known for saying colors are the mother tongue of the subconscious. I thought that was interesting.
I love him.
So before there was even color psychology as a field, color was being used for centuries as a method of treatment as early as 2000 BC. I thought this was really interesting. The ancient Egyptians documented color cures using painted rooms or sunlight shining through crystals as therapy. One of the earliest medical documents, the
黄帝内经
documents color diagnoses associated with color healing practices. So like color has some sort of, I don't even know, like what's that word called?
Vibration.
Color has a there's a V word.
Vibration.
There's another V word.
Vibrance.
When you have like a reaction to something.
Visceral.
Visceral.
Yeah. Color has some sort of, people have like a visceral reaction to color. It could be for many different reasons, but it seems to be cross gender, cross culture, and it could also work as like a cure for things. I thought that was also very
I
interesting.
think that's pretty amazing because, well, also think of people who talk about auras, like people's auras have a lot to do with the energy that they're emitting, creating specific color auras.
Maybe it's also violet light. Who knows?
Yeah. So I could see like being like enveloped in a specific color, which ultimately you would be receiving a specific vibration to like create a mood or to help you. I mean, I have like little crystals hanging in some of my windows when the light shines through them. Looking at the rainbow across the room is very nice.
Yeah, I mean, isn't everything vibrating? Like, so what is the relationship between vibrations and wavelengths? Yeah, that's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the physics behind that. So I thought it'd be interesting if we took a moment to talk about color symbolism before we sort of dive into color theory and color schemes, essentially.
Can we guess? Can we play a guessing game? You say the color and we.
Yeah, I would love that. That's so fun. I love games.
That sounds fun.
So what do you think about the color red? What do you think it symbolizes?
Power.
Lust.
That too.
Lust
Rage.
is there.
Hunger.
Rage, I'm not necessarily seeing, but I definitely read somewhere like danger. Yeah, and
Yeah, like seeing red is usually like a sign of rage.
yeah.
Underlay.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, that's what they use the red sheet when they're working with the bulls, because it makes them angry.
Yeah. Anything else that you think red is associated with?
Love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely love and passion. Maybe not so common over here, but red is associated with good luck and happiness in China.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's
Oh,
used a lot in holidays and for weddings. It's also representative of communism, but I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
I think is it, I don't know what specific culture, but giving red envelopes full of money.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
Chinese, I think. I believe it's China. And how about orange? Let's go in the color scheme of the rainbow.
Orange is a weird color.
Orange is
Mhm.
very
It used to be my fave color in middle school. I convinced
Favorite
my
color?
parents. Yeah, I convinced my parents to let me paint my room orange.
That is
But
really
then they were like, no, you can only paint the trim orange. So I had like blue walls, orange trim.
that's
Man, you know what? I was like subconsciously already a New Paltz person.
I know,
You
right?
were.
Those are complementary colors. Those are the Knicks, the New
Yeah.
York Knicks.
Yeah, there's a couple sports teams that have those. All right, back to it. Orange.
Creativity? For some reason, I want to say that. I don't know why.
What it symbolizes? Caution.
It's not saying that here. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not. It's definitely saying it's an attention-grabbing color in human visions, but like that's not. I mean, that's not necessarily
Like vibrant sun.
yeah, like high vis stuff, like like traffic cones and like safety vests and stuff like that.
Yeah, in nature, well, I think specifically that like neon orange that they use is not one that will just like show up in nature. So visually, it's a like it's an alert. Even like think about during hunting season, like gun season specifically, people are supposed to wear orange if they're in the woods because it's like it's not a naturally occurring color that somebody would mistake for anything else.
Yeah.
So
It seems to be associated with amusement, extroversion, fire, energy, and activity. Oh, and red. I think you guys were pretty much right, but love, passion, lust, danger, and aggression. So rage and aggression, I guess that's kind of similar. Yeah. How about yellow? What do you guys think about yellow? I thought this one was really weird.
Happy. I know. Isn't that associated with happiness? Like invoking positive emotions, happiness?
I think it's also
Joy.
anxiety. They
Oh,
tell you
really?
never to paint kids' rooms in yellow.
Huh. I could see that being hard for attention stuff for kids.
It says children tend to like this color. And it is
SpongeBob.
and it is used in marketing products to children. It is also used as a warning sign. School buses and cabs are therefore this color because they're bright and noticeable. But the yellow belly, that means that it's associated with cowardice. Like,
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was a Western term, yellow belly.
yeah, I've never heard of that.
Cowboy terms.
Cowboy. I never heard of that. What about green, guys? What do you think about green?
Wealth and money and earth growth,
Fertility.
like earth plants.
Yeah.
Calm. Yeah, new beginnings, growth, wealth, all the
Healing, youth.
Youth, really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, or like novice, because
Yeah.
if you're green,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like inexperienced or new at something, you're considered green. That's saying someone's green means they're inexperienced or new. It could also symbolize in the United States money, greed, sickness, or jealousy.
Oh yeah, green with
envy.
Yeah.
Green is such a nice color. I really like green. I've like grown to like green over the years. Like I used to think green was such a whack color when I was a kid. And then my grandmother always liked green, so I always thought it was interesting. And then I started to like green. And then
Now I wonder how you see it though. If you don't see greens and reds that much, like what does it look like for you?
well, I like greenish blue. I like a
Yeah.
green that's kind of bluish. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what it looks like for me compared to somebody else, but I definitely like green. Like I have green sneakers that I wear a lot, and I just like them, and everybody else likes them too. And I don't know, I like that green also is kind of like this color that seems like in between like blue. To me, it's in between. I don't know why I say this, but I feel like I could match it with like a lot of different things. Like green matches with brown, matches with skin tones, matches with I don't want to say matches with black, but like I don't think I wear that much black anyway, so it kind of matches everything else that I have. Like, and then if I wore
As you
black,
have a black shirt on.
I know. Can we just do a little montage right now of all the episodes that Idris is wearing a black shirt?
Yeah.
life experiences. Sorry, can you give me a second? Sorry, I'll do that again. Is this like too dark? Yeah, they were like the corn chip nails coming out of the ceiling. Ooh, what is all this? I feel blah. Hold on. Cocktails. Do you have a cocktail? Ask Kevin if he can make you a cocktail while he's making spaghetti. I can't wait to have some stuffing with some peppers in it and turkey, sausage. Oh my gosh, I love my sister's stuffing. It's the best.
Yeah, but I do this all the time. Yeah.
Like maybe it has something to do low key with like electromagnet, like magnetics or something.
I was like, Idris, black is primarily in what you wear.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But like, yeah, I feel like I really like to wear blues and browns, and so green like matches really well with that, and gray. So like,
yeah, I would kind of see it as like a neutral depending on the type of green you're using. I used to have like a forest green pair of jeans that I loved, and I really wore those with everything.
That's unsexy.
They were kind of like almost the same color as those sambas you showed me, Lisa. Or yeah.
Those are called collegiate green, which
those are my
very
favorite.
similar to when I went to my first Catholic school, the grade school Catholic school. We have plaid skirts, but then our sweatshirt, the school's like Our Lady Mercy. It was in that collegiate green. They had another name for it, but very similar to that. I think a lot of Catholic schools tend to like it's that whole collegiate color, like school colors.
Yeah, the maroon or the green.
Which I've always preferred maroon. But I am finding though, it was odd when I sent you those sneakers and stuff, I was like, I never would have picked that collegiate green for something, but I'm feeling drawn towards that a little bit lately. I think I'm just leaning towards sparse, like bolder stuff, but sparsely done, like as accents.
Maybe like the older you get, the more you like green.
And the older I get, the more I'm trying out new colors. And yes, it's shifting for sure.
Can you imagine? That'd be so random.
It's like a requirement of getting older.
Yeah. Must enjoy green.
What do you guys think about the color blue, like symbolically?
Calm and serenity.
Trust.
I have serenity here. I have stability here, so that's kind of trust.
I mean, water.
Yeah, that too.
Fresh,
Mm-hmm.
clean.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't see water yet. I have water like somewhere else here when it talks about the shades of blue, because I talk about, so I broke blue down into blue and indigo / dark blue, which I always thought was strange because like who says indigo like ever in life? Like
Although it is a proper color of the rainbow.
yeah, seriously. But it doesn't get enough airplay. And essentially indigo, in essence, as far as I understand, is dark blue. And I think what's even stranger is that I broke this down into who really says violet, but we always seem to talk about purple. So then I broke it down into purple and violet because like violet is technically there on the spectrum as well, like V, Roy G. Biv. Does anybody even know like what that is anymore? Roy G. Biv? Like, do people say that?
It's ROYGBV. It's just the acronym for all the colors.
Yeah, have you ever said that, Lisa?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we had that in art school. They made us know that. Plus, I mean, when we were in grade school, everyone learned that.
Yeah.
I don't know if grade school kids these days are learning it, but
I have a
What's
guess.
color?
I totally don't know what violet stands for, but
I
purple.
think it's like a purple with a redder.
Oh yeah,
hue.
it's definitely like a
indigo
redder.
is kind of like like a dark blue, but like I think of the natural dye with indigo, it's always like a very nice, like I don't know if you can see the color in this cup, but like the saturated part, like that's like indigo.
Yeah, that's what I would always refer to it as. What I thought was strange in my research was that someone said that navy blue is often confused with dark blue. Like, how are they not the same?
I don't, maybe because it's not as saturated, like navy blue.
well, I imagine it depends on what. I mean, that goes into like, what other colors mix in to make it navy. And that's like, which I think goes into the whole thing about like, you guys are better with this than I am, but those who are more trained in art, like you get to a point when you study enough that like, and you guys know, like you could look at a swatch of color and be like, oh, that's red, but it has a little bit of yellow in this and that in it. Like I was better at that at one point, but that's where you really go into like the nuance of color. So I imagine navy has like one of those sub colors a little bit more in it, whether it be, I don't know.
Maybe. I always thought navy blue was a pure blue, just like a dark blue. Whereas cobalt is like a bright blue, brighter than navy. I would think, but
Navy, I would imagine has a little black in it though, or brown, black or brown.
Maybe like navy has black in it, and I'm not sure, which would mean that it has a lower luminance, I guess.
Yeah, let me look up the CMYK.
But the thing is, when it comes to colors, even like as a designer, not to say that every designer is the same and like or should be the same or what have you, but like even as a designer, like I still like look things up because like if a client asks me like, oh, use navy blue, which actually happened recently, they were like, use navy blue on an outline for some type. I just Googled like, what is the hex code for navy blue?
Yeah. So navy blue is not a dark blue.
What?
It's like a medium blue. It's 100% cyan, 100% magenta, no yellow, and 50% black.
Interesting.
Here,
so there is some black in there. It's kind of bright too.
Yeah, that does not look navy to me.
That's navy.
Yeah, and that's definitely the hex code for it too. 80 at the end, like 0000.
So funny the way we've associated certain things.
Dark navy color. So you could have a dark navy, but that's not navy.
So indigo is very different. It has way more magenta and half as much cyan.
I could see that having more magenta. That makes sense.
Well,
although that is not, that's purple, man. But like when you, but I would associate it with the color on your mug though.
I would too. Man,
the indigo dye. Well, but look at that indigo dye one and then look at the boxes that look purple. That's annoying.
Man, what the heck?
I
Well,
know.
maybe it's not based on the dye, the natural dye, and that's messed up, guys.
Right.
Like this to me, this second one, like, okay, maybe.
But then that means it's purple and it's not dark blue.
Yeah, so right, look at here, this one, indigo, dark violet. You know what? None of us know anything at this point.
I'm just annoyed now.
But I guess, hang on, one more time. Let's just look at that rainbow option that look, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. All right, fine. Maybe I'm convinced,
I don't know.
but I
I
don't know.
don't know either, because I feel like they always make it seem like it's darker.
Yeah, right?
I'm very confused. But either way, so purple, what do you guys think?
Purple royalty.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely royalty. In addition to trust, purple is also seen as mysterious.
Well, I can see that.
And then dark blue, what was that associated with? Oh, this is interesting. Dark blue is associated with mystery and depth and ominous qualities or power and authority, like the police or people in navy blue uniforms, like the Navy. Did I make that up? I don't think so. It is commonly associated with knowledge, authority, and reliability.
Okay.
And then some offshoots. What do you think black's associated with? These are not in like
Yeah.
the really.
I was gonna say death also.
Death.
Grief,
Mystery,
sadness,
evil,
but also like sophistication.
that too.
Mourning. You did
Mourning.
say sadness, mourning.
Oh,
Like
She's a grief.
mourning.
She's a grief.
Like
Which
mourning
similar.
loss, not like sunlight mourning. Although this practice is not as widespread as in the past. Oh, that's interesting. Really?
Yeah, people don't wear black to funerals as much. But
Alright.
and like, I mean, back in the day, like widows used to have to like wear black for months and months and months while they're in their whole period of mourning. And it was considered like improper if they stopped wearing black too soon.
This is
In
definitely
certain cultures.
rainbow.
What do you say?
This is definitely not in the rainbow. What do you think about the color brown?
Earth.
Earthy,
Uh,
grounded, stable,
wholesome, organic,
practical.
Organic. That's a good one. Yeah.
an excellent color to include in your palette. Yeah, it's has to do with the natural world, I guess. Earthy colors, yeah. Has a warmth about it and a feel of security. Okay.
I can see that.
I like brown a lot. That was one of my favorite colors growing up, I think. Brown. Such a random color. And last but not least, even though I skipped around a bit, but what do you think about the color gray? What do you think that symbolizes?
Shadow, middle ground, like living in the gray, veiled concepts, dreary.
I don't know. I have a lot of gray in my home. I think it's a good
Neutral.
I think you could all be right because there's no symbolism I have for gray. I tricked you. No, like it talks about luminosity or some luminance rather, but it doesn't talk about symbolism for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, horrible research, Rhys. Tisk tisk. So, and a lot of this is from Adobe, by the way. So thank you, Adobe. I appreciate you. And some other really great sites around the internet. And so yeah, that's color symbolism for you. I think people use that and color psychology in order to help them decide on which colors they want to use for their branding and marketing or whatever they're doing, whatever their approach is to deciding on colors. And when you're deciding on colors, you're not just thinking about hues, you're also thinking about saturation, you're also thinking about luminance. And another way to look at these words is think, for hue, think the type of blue, like is it a bluish green or is it a purplish blue? Or for saturation, is it grayscale, is it like pale or kind of grayed out, or is it the opposite and really vivid? And for luminance, you want to think of brightness, like how bright a color is it like a cyan blue, or is it like a darker shade of blue like cobalt, which is still pretty bright, but you know, kind of darker than cyan. Do you guys follow my drift?
Yeah.
Totally.
Sometimes those get a little confusing for me even still.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I could have done more to like, that's an area I wish I would like to explore more and get a more in-depth learning with. I mean, even within photography, like when you're working in black and white photo, or even when you're working on color and learning light, like color and the balance of color is part of it. And even like the color temperature of stuff. Like I always struggled with that part of things. And we got into New Paltz right when they phased out teaching old school color photo printing, right? Because we learned color digitally. But I know that was heavy into it, I believe, when you had to used to learn how to print like color film the old school way.
Yeah, totally. I remember those days. So yeah, that made me also think about like what is CMYK for a second, and like what are pigments and dyes. But I think I'll dive more into that in the socials. So check out our socials for more on that. But essentially, like CMYK is a different color model to look at color than RGB, and dyes and pigments are used to create color. Whereas like I think pigments are insoluble, I believe. Yeah, pigments are completely or nearly insoluble, and they're chemically unreactive in water in other mediums. In contrast, dyes are color substances that are soluble and can therefore go into a solution in some stage of their use or what have you. So dyes are organic compounds, whereas pigments are inorganic. And pigments are prehistoric and historic. Pigments have prehistoric and historic value, including ochre. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. Ochre, charcoal, and lapis lazuli.
Yeah, because those were things that people would just find and use.
So color coordination. Color coordination, also known as creating color schemes, is essentially what people do when they want to create like a harmonious relationship between different colors. And not that you always have to do that. You want to learn the rules so you could break them beautifully or what have you. But essentially, there's like a calculated way that you could go about doing this, which we're not going to get too much into. But on a color wheel, essentially, you have your colors that are directly across from each other, which are complementary colors. You have colors that are next to each other, which are analogous colors. And then you have a color that sort of sits alone, like a monochromatic color or something, you know. And essentially, you can create harmonious relationships between colors by calculating the angle of the color from another color, and like drawing like a shape, like a square or a triangle or a tetrahedron. I don't know, I don't care. But like essentially we don't sit around calculating those things. You could use like a generator to do that. So you can have, what are the different ways you could do it? So you could have like
color KULER. Well, Adobe took it over. Whatever.
Yeah, Adobe. You can go to that website, adobecolor.com, or I think it's adobe.color.com. I think it is, or maybe it's color.adobe.com. But essentially, We have achromatic colors. Any color that lacks strong chromatic content is known as achromatic. Okay. Monochromatic, so things kind of staying in the same hue but being different tints, tones, or shades. Complementary colors, those are colors that are opposite on the spectrum. Analogous, triadic, so that's like three color combinations, and they're like 120 degrees and 240 degrees apart from the base color. And tetradic, I think that means four. Also called double complementary. And these are color schemes that have they're considered the richest because of the four colors that are arranged, and they have two complementary color pairs. And so it's like a square on the color wheel. Something something Tracy and I were discussing the other day was wave method color schemes. And I thought it was really interesting. So you could create color combination using many different colors. And apparently the way that you come across these colors is by understanding what the complementary color is depending on the consonant in a note of music to another note of music. And so
basically using a like
yeah, I know,
say
right?
There's like you pick four notes and
like a chord.
Yeah, like a chord, and the assigned color to those notes would then create your color palette. So it's based off of music theory. Really wild.
Something strange like that. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I mean, I have no adeptness when it comes to like musical notes and reading any of that stuff, or I don't know which note is what or any of it, but I still find that crazy interesting because I could like hear a note and be like, I like that one. Now tell me what color it's associated with. Because I imagine that I would be curious to test it out and see like the mood that a sound evokes. Does the color evoke the same mood as that? I'd be so curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I mean,
That's so
it'd be
cool.
interesting to ask like someone who understands music theory, like what they know about that. Cause like I don't understand what a consonant is in music, really. I know, right? But like essentially if something holds like the same wavelength or something as a consonant, then we would need like the opposite of that, and then we would be able to discover that matching color, something like that.
Ask.
And it was only discovered in 2017, by the way, so this is really new.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
We should maybe find one of our music friends and ask them when we review some of this on social. I'd be curious what their thoughts are on it and if they've thought about it.
I know. And so we're making our way to Joseph Albers. But before that, I wanted to take a small break and check out this lady's Instagram.
Who?
She is very color coordinated, but sometimes I think she breaks the rules a little bit here and there. And we just wanted to show her off. She has some really cool stuff. Who shared this with me, actually?
I think it was Tracy, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about her?
So, yeah. So, I don't remember how I came across her, but I just love that she mixes color. She also mixes patterns and textures to create these like amazing outfits and things that you would never think you would put together in an outfit. She's like really adventurous and it totally works. You're like, oh, that's cool. I think it's really interesting. She finds similar shapes in like her socks and her dress, or and they have a lot of it. So this is a good example of like matching hues and matching like the vibrance of a color. Like so that top right one with the where she has the black, white, and red like circle and bag. So like she has a lot of different blacks and grays in there, and then she has this red, and like the tone of the red in both the coat and the bag are almost identical, while like everything around it, similarly, like the green in her socks to the green stripe on her coat, like it's almost the same color. And she's just like mix matching the shape, but also the colors. I think it's so cool.
Can you scroll a little bit more?
Of course. It's also interesting to see how the red looks different depending on the surrounding area.
Yeah, the background of it for sure.
Like Josef Albers.
It's just so fun.
Yeah, super fun. I really love her style. I want it.
That is fun.
I like the tie-dye.
Yeah.
I like the one above the tie-dye, the combination of those blues with that green. That's great. And
That's
that
like
tie-dye
how
is
I
beautiful.
tend to
Old
dress.
person, you're becoming an old person. You like green.
I'm very much like I need to get more like prints, I guess. I tend to dress in a lot of monochromatic solid colors, which is fine, but like seeing somebody who's really adventurous with prints, I'm like, I could use some of that.
Yeah, I want to be like
Yeah.
more adventurous with color. That's a good point.
I want to be more adventurous with color, and also like I've said this over and over again, my style has been changing, and same with like silhouettes too, and like silhouettes and patterns and silhouettes and color, and it's just had me thinking a lot differently.
She's so pretty. Thank you, lady.
So fun.
Reminds me of Bauhaus too a little bit for some reason.
What's
Yeah.
can you just read that handle out so anybody who
Oh yeah,
wants to check her out?
So for our listeners and whatnot, we're looking at textile.mixologist on Instagram. She's really awesome. Her name is Dee Dee. That's Deeedee. And this is like her outfit diary of recycled and remixed looks, which she calls slow fashion, supporting small biopic and women-owned brands in Rhode Island, USA. That is pretty cool. And she has her email address up here and stuff
I
like
wonder
that.
if she went to RISD.
I know, right?
Maybe.
RISD alum. So that was pretty cool. So Josef Albers. Josef Albers was born March 19th, 1888. And
Pisces.
March 25th, 1976, right outside of Pisces season. He was a German-born American artist and educator who is considered one of the most influential 20th century art teachers in the United States. Following the Bauhaus closure under Nazi pressure in 1933, Albers emigrated to the United States. He was appointed as the head of the painting program at the experimental liberal arts institution, Black Mountain College in North Carolina, a position which he held until 1949.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he eventually did go to Yale though. And before that, though, I should actually just stay on Black Mountain. That's where he taught students like some of the more prominent known ones that we know about as artists, such as Ruth Asawa, Robert Rauschenberg, which we'll talk about later.
Ooh, he was one of his students.
And invited contemporary American artists to teach in the summer seminar, including the choreographer Mercy Cunningham and Harlem Renaissance painter Jacob Lawrence. In 1950, he left for Yale, where he had the design department, contributing significantly to its graphic design program. Albert's teaching
methodology,
prioritizing practical experiences and envision in design had a profound impact on development of post-war Western visual art, while his book Interaction of Color, published in 1963, is considered a seminal work on color theory. In addition to being a teacher, Albers was an active abstract painter and theorist, best known for his series Homage to the Square, in which he explored chromatic interactions with nestled squares, meticulously recording the colors that he used. He also created murals such as the one in the Corning Glass building and the Time and Life building. Oh, thank you. And And yeah, and he lived in Orange, Connecticut. I thought that was funny. He lived in Orange, Connecticut. He lived in a color. He lived in Orange, Connecticut, where they continued with his wife, where they continued to work in a private studio. In 1971, Albers was the first living artist to be given a solo show at the Met in New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Albers insisted that color, as the most relative medium in art, has innumerable faces or appearances. To study them in their respective interactions, in their interdependency, will enrich our seeing our world and ourselves. And as for opacity and transparency, for Joseph Albers, sight signified not just the optical mechanics of the eye and the physical properties of light waves, but also the perception of inner states. Combine these different ways of seeing formed one's view of the world, which the masters considered to be highly subjective. If one's This is what I was saying before. If one says red, the name of a color, and there are 50 people listening, it can be expected that there will be 50 different reds in their minds. And one can be sure that all these reds will be different. That's from Joseph Albers. So in order to cultivate this type of vision, Joseph Albers assigned free studies which actually had strict parameters. Students might be tasked with the challenge of using only 4 colors to produce multiple effects. Albers insisted such restrictions nevertheless led to an incredible variety of independent work, as rarely happens in classes whose students are exposed to so-called self-expression. So that's Joseph Albers for you.
I think just that quote that you read from him about the red, I think that explains a lot of his work. Like that is the gist of his work. If that's what he's trying to express when people look at, obviously we'll put it up on screen, but when you look at the nested squares, it's literally just square after square after square of different colors of reds.
Yeah.
Like on top of each other. So, and he does it with other colors. There may be like a couple colors thrown in there, but it's interesting to think that he was aware of that in his teaching, and he didn't expect any different from his class to give back. And so he was like experimenting with their reaction to having the limit of colors, but also just the acknowledgement that it's, like everybody perceives the color in a different light. Okay.
Which I think is interesting for like viewers to keep in mind, because I feel like a lot of times when they look at stuff like that, you'll hear the comment like, well, my kid could have painted that, or I could have painted that, right? And that's the thing to keep in mind, why those artists were popular or what was the meaning behind that. It's not the complexity in the structural of it, of the square, but the use of color, the purpose of that color, the experimentation on perception, and then also by the use of limiting what he worked with and like the type of color he ultimately produced. That's the artistry behind it, which is like, we've always said this before, but that's what I got out of art seminar the most of anything, is it completely shifted the way I looked at different types of artists, because it changes everything when you know those backstories.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that, or at least I didn't remember that from art seminar.
Totes my goats.
Also, I thought that was interesting that he did work out in Black Mountain, North Carolina, and now he's over at Yale, which like I just left North Carolina. I'm right at Yale now. That's interesting.
That was really interesting.
We have a mutual friend that lives in that town you mentioned. Like, we'll talk about that later, but yeah.
So he was in Connecticut to the end.
Well,
pretty sure. We'll check. We'll fact check me.
And so yeah, in addition to Joseph Albers and color kind of combinations and everything, I wanted to touch on color trends that are happening in the internet, on the webs. And kind of getting what Pantone thinks about color. Pantone is a color authority. They make color swatches for brands across the world, artists around the world. They even like work with brands to trademark certain colors and everything. So yeah, they have this article called The Digital Color Revolution, and it touches on the convergence of physical and virtual worlds driving a new era of creativity with gaming and digital fashion and NFTs and the metaverse leading the way. And how digital skins have become popular, allowing for experimentation with identities in virtual environments. And this trend extends from gaming culture to high fashion, enabling immersive experiences. And that lends itself to color trends, which digital colors are characterized by vibrant near neon tones due to screen backlighting. While bright color dominates, softer dreamlike tones are also gaining popularity, adding sophistication and depth to digital designs.
I can see that. I feel like when you see something in the real world, oh, what didn't we look at something? Maybe it was an image in that article.
Shadu?
There's like a model lounging, although
It was Shadu.
she is not a real model.
Yeah, it was Shadu. It was like she's a fake model. She's a
AI model.
Yeah. So,
AI.
anyways, neon. Yeah, like I think of like Tron and like the neon colors of, and obviously like Tron was a movie and game or book or whatever, but in the movie when you saw it, like all the neon lights, like the digital. So yeah, I can totally see that although in the 80s it was very hot. It's almost like the essence of the digital world now. It's like those neon bright, funky colors.
And those neon
If I had a dime for every time I heard my nephew or reference like his new skin that he's created with his friends or what new skin he has, I mean, apparently it's a very big part of the game world.
Oh, making a skin?
Yeah, he talks about it all the time.
I don't know.
He's like very, very, very into Minecraft.
I have no idea anything because I don't play video games, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
But touching on the neon lights of Tron and stuff, there's an artist that I want to mention later on who does a lot of his work primarily in light and colored light, kind of like Tron stuff. And so yeah, so we have influences on physical design. This is from the article. Digital color aesthetics are influencing physical spaces across the various sectors, from fashion and beauty to packaging. Soft pastels with a hint of digital edge are becoming increasingly popular, offering a unique blend of real-world familiarity and digital appeal. And last but not least, implications for creativity. The digital color revolution is reshaping how we perceive and interact with color, blurring the boundaries between physical and virtual realms and offering new avenues for creative expression in various industries. So I thought that was a pretty cool article to check out. It's called Pantone and the Digital Color Revolution, if anybody wants to read that. And yeah, and so from that point, I just wanted to talk to you guys about some artists that I think have pretty immersive color experiences. And I think that they're relevant to this discussion on color because it seems like they're more like color centric, color focused when it comes to their art. Not like the composition doesn't matter, like composition totally matters and everything, but it's not like they're Jackson Pollock, where it's just like Jackson Pollock's known for more of his abstract composition. They're known for like their use of color and color being like a for focus in their art. So they might use color blocking like Pete Mondrian, and he's known for making compositions that have like different squares and rectangles and different colors that are next to each other. Who else do we have? We'll check out him first.
Rothko?
Yeah, we have Roscoe too.
Well, can I just comment on something?
Of course.
So Mondrian used a specific color palette. He was
Primary
I think
color?
like all of his well-known works, like the color blocking well-known works, the
Mhm.
blue, yellow, red, black, and white, like that was his distinctive color palette. And like when you looked at something, and you would be like, oh, that's a Mondrian.
Yeah,
And kind of going back to that like branding of color, like recognition by color and not necessarily any other aspect of it. Like this is a good example of that in an artist's work.
yeah.
Definitely.
Lisa,
What?
make you feel because I don't think you like primary colors.
I hate primary colors. Yes, I know. They make me angry.
Mark Rothko is another one of them. He does like color blocking with these like sort of softened edges around his painted blocks. I like Mark Rothko, but I know you're not a huge fan.
I like it. I think
Better
we
than
talked-
Mondrian, but I don't.
I do think it's something you have to experience in person. Like I really think when you see things like this again, kind of like, well, I could do that. But just the experience of them in person, a lot of them are very large. So like standing in front of them, it's a very different experience than looking at them in a book or online.
It's a
Yeah.
visceral experience, right? Like
Yeah.
each painting, each set of colors, how they envelop you, it'll evoke a different mood and feeling out of
Ooh.
you.
Maybe a therapy. You're getting healed through color
Mhm.
somehow because now you're like, it's like beaming on you because it's so big.
That is really interesting. I want a nice big old Mark Rothko painting.
Oh,
Maybe
it's all.
Rauschenberg.
Yeah,
That's one of your faves.
it is.
I like his use of collage. It's really
The
Love it.
cover of one of our art history books, the goat and the tire.
I
Yeah.
am seeing a lot of brown. Is that just me?
I wonder if his base was like craft paper, it looks like.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
I know some of his pieces were exceptionally big, but yeah, I don't know if it was craft paper.
Or like wood. I don't know. I'd have to look into more.
Well, he did seem to use mixed media. So some were mixed media and based on wood and stuff. And then other things were what seems to be craft paper. But I haven't seen an in-person Rauschenberg in a while. So I kind of forget.
I don't know that I ever have. I'm sure I have. I just can't think of where I would have, but
Where you would have seen him?
yeah.
In the Met and MoMA.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I definitely have.
His stuff is in their permanent collections.
Maybe I need a
Did you
refresher.
Flavin last, by the way?
There's like a really great
What do you say?
bar at the Met.
Oh, I was just saying we should do Flavin last, by the way.
What did you
Okay.
just say, Trace? Sorry.
No, I was just saying we need to do a refresher of some New York City museums, but then I said there's a really great rooftop bar at the Met.
Can we? Oh, can we actually?
Yes.
Who's next?
So yeah, Henri Matisse, also known for his use of color. These are some beautiful colors, by the way.
Very bright,
Yeah, really bright.
but like not in an overly like gaudy way either.
Did he really use a long paintbrush like that?
I don't know.
That's funny. Look at the way he's like holding it with his like hip.
Hmm.
I wonder if that's real.
He's cool.
Um,
I love his I love his little illustrations. For me, like I think the way he created his forms, I know this is off the color topic, but that is like a distinctive signature of his is those like organic shapes that he weaves into a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, I think.
Oh, yeah, my guy, Dan Flavin. Henri Matisse reminded me a little bit of what's that guy's name? The Cubist guy? Picasso?
Picasso?
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah.
Could see that a little bit, yeah.
Well, yeah, because his cubist styles are very like some of the shapes are similar to the organic shapes Trace was talking about. I get that, and depending on which phase or a period of Picasso, because Picasso's style ran the gamut in terms of like being super abstract, being a little less abstract.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yes, exactly. See. So like my favorite Picasso painting is from his blue period. I think it's called Blue Nude. And that is not what you would typically think of when you look at Picasso. But it is lends itself to a little bit more of one of Matisse's styles, like not quite, but and also the one of the guy playing guitar, like I could see the connection between, and also that woman over there. That's where he lends himself a little bit more to, looking like similarities to Matisse. I used to replicate this painting all the time in college. I have it on the cover of notebooks. I would use it all the time. I love this painting.
It seems
Really
so
beautiful
to me.
It is. It's very nice.
And then Dan Flavin, I'm obsessed. I love Dan Flavin. He's just so, it's just a look that's for me. Like if like I could afford to like have his art in my house, I would like do that. It's just, I guess the best way to describe it is neon lights and fluorescent lights that are thoughtfully placed in a particular space for his exhibitions. Sometimes they're like lumped together, sometimes they're spread apart, so they're sparse. It sometimes look like he's lighting a pathway or he's creating a portal or something like that. And it almost like plays with shadow and stuff a little bit too.
Yeah, like they're usually in dim lit rooms, so you see how the light bounces off the wall and how based on the color of bulbs he's using, how they like blend together and create these reflections of color. It's really beautiful.
To me, his style and others who've done similar to him are like the precursor to like the immersive experience we see these days. To me, that is an immersive experience in a way, you know, even more so than like when you stand in front of a big Rothko full of color, like really imagining yourself in that room, like you could feel it, you know. I imagine that's got to be very
it's cool. I'm pretty sure they're still there, but he had some pieces at Dia Beacon.
Yeah, upstate.
Haven't been there in a long time.
I think they looked like that one right there that we just passed, the Serpentine Gallery.
Yeah, that's a similar setup. Yep. And then these like single white lights stacked, I think. He also has some of those. But
Do you know what art museum I really enjoyed, which I haven't been there in years, but I wonder if it's just as good, as Mass Mocha. They had a really interesting room for like immersive experiences. They had like images and paintings that would wrap like this whole circular room. I'd be interested to take a trip there again.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Cool idea.
So that's Dan Flavin, and that's our journey on color. Magic School Bus. We're done.
Love it. Thank you for taking us on this journey, Rhys.
You're welcome.
So many new things I've learned that I don't know.
Yeah.
Learned.
Get learned. Hashtag get learned. That's going to be our new swag.
Hashtag get learned on Art Kids.
Patent pending.
I've trademarked it, so yeah.
Awesome.
Well, so
shall we look at a picture of Shadu Graham?
Should we look at what?
A picture of Shadu Graham.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah. She's the or it is the AI model.
Oh.
From that color article. Yeah, we should totally do an episode on like these.
Nope, that's not it.
Influencers.
Can you spell the name for me?
Of course. SHUDU. And then her last name Graham, like Instagram.
You're a Graham.
Okay, I'm not sharing anymore. Sorry about that. Here we go. Share away. All right.
Hey.
Shadu.
She's like Rihanna.
Beautiful. There's a very specific fashion model that I can't think of off the top of her head that she reminds me of, though.
She's
Imani?
No, but similar to that too. The one I'm thinking of is younger. beautiful though.
So
Oh, Miquella
creepy.
is the other one. Miquella. She's really popular.
Spell that.
Miqu. There she goes. The second one.
Oh,
Second.
sorry.
You're fine. It is 1L. 1L. Yeah. Miquella.
Robot. Miquella the
Oh
robot.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, but that's her. She's really popular too with the kids. She's
With
popular
the
with
kids.
They know she's a robot.
Yeah, totes my goats. She's like a cool robot though.
You know what? This is like next level Sims. It's like if you were able to go into the homes with your Sims, like this is where we are with kids and like IA characters.
Ooh, look at her in Days. She looks good with her little bob. I'm jealous. Oh, look at her with Hadid. I forgot that they did that.
Where?
Bella Hadid. Down a little bit more.
No, over to the right. Well, there's two of them, but yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, there's two?
For Calvin Klein.
Yeah. So here, right? That's Bella Hadid.
Yeah.
I want to know the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I want to know the behind the scenes too. Maybe we'll have somebody on our episode talking about behind the scenes. Who knows? You never know.
You
I
never
guess she's
know.
wearing two different socks. That's so funny.
It's the cool thing. You can now buy socks that are mismatched
I
pairs.
was totally wearing mismatched socks the other day. Like one was gray and the other one was like black.
I do that a lot. I have like a pack I bought at Journeys or something. And they're all the same sock, just different colors. And when I can't find the pair, I just pick another one.
Basically.
All right.
That's all, folks.
That was great. Thanks, Idris.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks.
Until
See you next time.
Oh, is that the end of the episode?
Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Art Kids. For credits, resources, and information on our guests, visit the Art Kids website at artkidspodcast.com. That's Art Kids with a Z. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe on all your favorite platforms. Thanks for listening. See you later, alligator.